Dear students, greetings of the day. I hope that you all are healthy and staying safe and also taking good care of your health. Welcome back to the video lecture series. In previous video lecture, we have seen various consumer behavior models, which is very much applicable and means essential to understand before understanding key concepts of services, so that one can easily formulate strategy to deal with any intangible product, that is service. Now, moving ahead in this video lecture, we will discuss about service quality, that is another key concern area, because something which is intangible. Well, sorry for the interruption. There was some technical glitch, so I was disconnected with the audio. Right. So in this video lecture, we will explore service quality. This is very much essential to understand service quality dimensions and the basics of service quality, because without understanding quality concept, no one can ensure quality in intangible service, because something which is not in physical shape, right? So it is really very difficult to understand, so that we will explore in this video lecture. So in this video lecture, I am going to cover basics about service quality, what is service quality all about, then issues in service quality that we will have to understand why we are discussing this particular topic in this course, so that we will look into. Then types of service quality, what are the various types, then we will look uh, various dimensions of service quality, and at last we will see perceived service quality, right? What are the various service quality that is perceived by customers. So moving ahead, let's start. Now come to service quality. I hope you all are very well aware about quality concept, right? If quality word comes in our mind, what we generally feel? Service quality is generally viewed as the output of service delivery system, especially in case of pure service system. Whenever we talk about, say, whenever uh, service like Domino's comes in our mind, right? How we think about service, how we think about quality of Domino's, right? So the quality of Domino's is purely based on the service delivery system, that how Domino's deliver, right? So basically, whenever we talk about service quality, right? So first thing which came in our mind, that is service delivery system, right? Service quality is linked to consumer satisfaction somewhere, right? So in some cases, it is directly related with our satisfaction, right? Not just from a single reference, but from host of contributing factors, lot many contributing factors which we already discussed, right? So satisfaction somewhere means this service quality somewhere connected with this. Now, if we talk about what is service quality, because we also need to understand definition or literal meaning. So to understand service quality, we will uh, try to understand service first, then quality, and then we will collaborate both the things, service and quality. If we talk about service, we already discussed about service. So service is nothing. Service is something which is intangible, heterogeneous, perishable, and inseparable. Means these are the features that we already discussed. So service is something which is intangible, that is heterogeneous, because no one can ensure standard service. Although service providers are ensuring standard services, but there is heterogeneity at the time of service production and consumption because of high degree of involvement of human beings into it. Then perishability, we cannot store services because simultaneous production and consumption takes place, so we cannot store it. That is why it is perishable. And inseparable, we cannot separate production at one end and consumption at another end. So production and consumption takes place at the same place. That is why this is inseparable as well. So this is all about service. Now come to quality. If we talk about quality, so what comes in our mind about quality is something which has zero defect, or doing it right the first time. Whenever we see anything, right, and there is no defect in our own, you know, uh, interaction, or you know, when we see. So what we say? We say quality is okay. So we can say that something which has zero defect is known as quality, or something doing it right the first time is quality. So दोनों तरीके से हम quality को समझ सकते हैं. Moving ahead, issues in service quality. What are the various issues that we need to understand? The very first issue, evaluation of service quality is more difficult as compared to goods quality. That is why we need to understand, service quality separately, because we can very easily evaluate quality of goods, but we cannot easily evaluate quality of service, because goods are tangible, it physically exists, right, while services are intangible, there is no shape and size, there is only feeling about service. So evaluation is the very first issue. Second, service quality is comparison between expectation and the performance, right? So we will have to understand expectations of the customers and performance of the service, or the perceived performance of the customers. Then only, and by comparing these expectation and performance, we will be able to understand quality. So this is another big issue, because understanding customers' expectation is first issue, and another issue is understanding perceived performance of the service. So this is second issue in service quality. The third biggest issue is service quality evaluation involve outcomes and processes, right? So we must have very right information about outcomes of the services and the processes which we follow to deliver the service. Although we have right information about processes which we follow to deliver any service, but understanding processes uh, in line with the outcomes is quite difficult job. That is why this is third biggest issue in service quality. So keeping these three issues in mind, we will explore further what is service quality, dimensions, and perceived service quality as well. So moving ahead, definition. Yes, to write in examination, we also need to understand definitions. So here is definition given by Parasuraman. Parasuraman was a management thinker. He describes service quality as the quality of an organization to meet or exceed customers' expectations. Means the ability of any organization, whether they are able to meet the customer's expectation or they are able to exceed the customer's expectation. This is all about service as per Parashurama. So this is one definition. Another definition given by Lloyd, Walker, and Chung. They said that service quality is considered not only to meet but to exceed customers' expectations and should include a continuous improvement process. Means what they did, they just extended definition given by Parshuraman, and what they extended that yes, service quality is meeting the expectations and exceeding the expectations of the customers, and apart from meeting and exceeding the customer's expectation, that must include continuous improvement process into the service. So that was the definition given by Lloyd Walker and Chung. Moving ahead, types of service quality. Yeah. So what do you think? What are the various types of services? Broadly, uh, service quality is classified into two. One is objective service quality and another one is subjective service quality. Now, look into objective service quality. If we talk about objective service quality, as the name suggests, objective service quality is something which is concrete, measurable conformity of a working result with the previous defined benefits. So whatsoever benefits of that particular service is defined previously, right, that must be measurable in all the respect. And whatsoever is measured as far as defined benefits are concerned, that must confirm after measurement. So that is why it is written there, concrete measurable conformity of a working result with the previous defined benefit. So whatsoever previous defined benefits are defined, when uh, services are delivered, that must be measured in the same way whatsoever it was defined. So that is objective service quality. Now come to subjective service quality. What is subjective service quality? Subjective service quality is customers' perceived conformity of the working result with the customer's original imagination of the service. Whatsoever customer originally imagined, as far as services are concerned, or the various benefits related to services are concerned, the same must be perceived, right? And it must be confirmed at the time of consumption. So that is why it is written, customers perceived conformity of the working result with the customer's original imagination of the service. Now come to dimensions of service quality. So this is very important from examination point of view as well, and from understanding of services as well. What are the various dimensions? What are the various pillars on which this service quality stands? So as per Parshuraman, 10 determinants were identified, which are as follows: service quality dimensions. So reliability is first one, then responsiveness, then competence, then access, then courtesy, then communication, then credibility, then security, then understanding, and finally tangibles. So these are the various dimensions initially identified by Parshuraman in 1985. You know, early 1985, because he 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 was the management thinker who started thinking about service, and that was the time when service industry was growing very fast. So he proposed that these are the 10 you know uh, basic service quality dimensions on which service quality exists. Like first one is reliability, how reliable that particular service is or services are, right? So reliability is first dimension. Second is responsiveness, how responsive that particular service is. Then competence, whether the service provider is competent enough to compete the competitors or not. That is another dimension of service quality. Then access, whether that particular service is easily available or not, accessible or not. Then courtesy, whether the service providers are, you know, showing their courtesy towards the customers or not, right? Whether they're courteous at the time of delivering service or not. Communication, the medium of communication, the way of communication, the flow of communication, that is another dimension of service quality. And the credibility, how credible that particular service is. Then security, whether it is secure or not, right? Then understanding whether people are able to understand that that particular service is another service quality dimension, because in so many, especially in case of service, initially people are not able to understand what that particular service is all about. So there must be very right understanding about the service as well, and that is another service quality dimension. And last one is tangibles. What are the various tangibles which ensure that yes, this particular service exists, right? So these are the basic service quality dimensions proposed by Parasuraman in 1985. Further, he modified again in 1985 the list, and he brought down, these five features. So after analyzing all the 10, service quality dimensions that is proposed by Parasuraman, again he refined the list, modified the list, and he proposed these five dimensions. The very first is assurance, right? Another one is empathy. Next one is tangibles, then reliability. Last one is responsiveness, right? Assurance of, well, so first one, that is assurance. If we talk about assurance, it means to inspire trust and confidence. Assurance is defined as implies knowledge of courtesy and the ability of the firm and its employee to inspire trust and confidence. This dimension is likely to be a particular important for the service that the customer perceives as involving high rising or about which they feel uncertain about the ability to evaluate. Somewhere it is related to trust and confidence, right? So whether ultimately it ensure or it assure, it create trust or it develop confidence that yes, this is the service and that is the quality. Now come to second one, that is empathy. I hope you all are, very well aware about the literal meaning of empathy. The same meaning is referred there. Empathy, it means to provide caring, individualized attention the firm provides to its customers. Ultimately, whether there is individual attention or not, right? In some countries, it is essential to provide individual attention to show to the customer that the company does best to satisfy his or her needs. Empathy is an additional plus that the trust and confidence of the customer and at the same time increase the loyalty. So this empathy is plus in assurance. If a service provider is able to assure about services, right, and they are also able to, showcase their empathy, right, showcase their individual attention to the customers, they are able to showcase that they are ready to, satisfy the needs of customers, then this is plus into assurance. Moving ahead, come to third one, that is tangibles. So if we talk about tangibles, we already discussed so many times related to tangibles as services are intangible, right? So service provider needs to take care of something which ensure about service and that physically exist. That may be support system, right? So that is what tangibles. So tangibles may be considered as an tangibility since services are intangible. Customers derive their perception of service quality by comparing the tangibles associated with the service provided, right? So, if we look at banking services, so uh, bank can only ensure by demonstrating their infrastructure that yes they provide banking facility and money kept with the bank are safe, right? So I hope you all observed a very narrow gate. Entry gate is very narrow of each and every bank. You know why? Just to show that we take care of your savings that is kept with the bank. One more thing which you all have observed there in the bank only, that the teller or the cashier, there is a dedicated transparent glass cabin, and that is provided with a very small window wherein you can only insert your hand and just communicate your paper and money with the uh, that cashier. Again, that is tangible, given that is physical structure where that tailor is sitting and they are performing their job, right? So the only purpose to create such infrastructure is to ensure that again your money or your saving kept with the bank is in safe hand or that is in safe custody, right? So that is what tangibility. Now move to the next one, that is reliability. So if we talk about reliability, so it is means I can say reliability is the ability to perform the promised service dependably and accurately. Whatsoever is committed, if a service provider is able to perform the promised service, right, accurately as per the promise, right? So that we can say that that particular service provider is reliable and their quality is okay. Reliability means that the company delivers on its promises about delivery, service provision, problem resolution, and pricing, and so on and so forth. So this is all about reliability. Now come to the last dimension of service quality is responsiveness. So this is very much clear with the literal meaning. If something which is responsive, right? So what is responsiveness in service quality? Responsiveness is nothing. It is the willingness to help customers and provide prompt services. The dimension emphasized attentiveness and promptness in the dealing with the customer's request, customers' questions, customers' complaints, and customers' problems. Means whether the service provider is responsive towards their customers or not. If they are responsive to deal with their requests, their questions, their complaints, their problems, then that is or that may be considered as a good service quality. So these are the basic five pillars of service quality, that is known as dimensions of service quality. I hope it is clear. So moving ahead, that is written there: reliability, perform promised service, dependable and accurate. Example: receive mail at same time each day. That is what reliability. If you receive some email notification from, say, your bank, and if you receive email at the same time each and every day, so it ensure reliability of the service provider. Now come to responsiveness. I am just moving to the means examples. Willingness to help customers promptly, that we already discussed. Example is given there: avoid keeping customers waiting for no apparent reason. If there is no apparent reason, so there should not be any waiting time. Or quick recovery if service failure occurs. If there is any service failure which happened just because of some problem, so that must be quickly recovered. That is what responsiveness, how responsive that service provider is. Now come to assurance. Just look at the example: being polite and showing respect for customers. That should be there in the service providers or human beings, those who are involved in the service delivery process. Then empathy, being a good listener. It demonstrate that they are empathize with the customers. And tangibles, right? Say cleanliness at the point of service delivery. So these are the various examples related to dimensions of service quality. Now moving ahead, perceived service quality. That we will have to understand. And why we need to understand perceived service quality? Because perceived service quality is based on, or I can say expectation is based on so many things, while uh, perceived service is purely based on the dimensions of services. Whatsoever dimensions of services are available in the market or that is promised by the service provider. So perceived service is purely based on this. So if we talk about expected service, so expected service is purely based on three things. First one is word of mouth communication, then the personal needs, whatsoever personal need we have as far as services are concerned, and past experience, right? So these three jointly leads to word of mouth communication or information which we receive word of mouth, then personal need that we are identified, and past experience that we already had, right? Jointly these three leads to the expected service. As I already discussed, service quality dimensions that we immediately discussed: reliability, responsiveness, assurance, empathy, and tangibles. That leads to again both, right? Expected service as well as perceived service. And this expected service and perceived service jointly leads to three different conditions, right? What happens when we compare expected service with the perceived service, and in case of expectations exceeded, means expected service is less than perceived service, right? So what happens in case when service, expected service is less than perceived service? In this case, there is surprise in quality. Okay. Then in second case, what may be second case? Second case may be when expected service equals to perceived service, right? In this case, there is satisfactory quality, means customers are satisfied. And there may be third condition as well, situation, sorry, third situation, wherein expected service is greater than perceived service, means perceived service is less than expected service. In this case, customers are dissatisfied, right? And the service quality is unacceptable. Service quality means service provider needs to take a very proper care at the time of delivering service, right? And they must ensure that at least expect means perceived service is equals to expected service. And for that, service provider must know expected service, all right? Then only they can ensure about service delivery and they can match it with the perceived service. So this is for this video lecture. I hope you all understood basics about service quality. If there is any issue, any query related to this particular video lecture, so you are free to reach me at my email ID that is written there, mayankpande.gn@jagannath.org. So thank you so much for patient listening. Take care and happy learning.